LANs, LANs, and WANs, oh my. This is Dr. Schuessler again, and I wanted to take a little bit of time just to talk about some of the difference between some of the different types of networks. Networks can be described in a lot of different ways. One of the ways is the geographic scope of the network, and there are more descriptions to different types of networks than just these three here. We're going to talk about a few of those in the next few slides. So the very first one we're going to talk about are PANs, personal area networks. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of these different networks in terms of geographic scope from smallest to largest. So, with that in mind, personal area networks represent the smallest type of network. So you can see that they're very small networks, usually stretching no further than around 30 feet or 10 meters. And a lot of times these are implemented using a Bluetooth network. They don't have to be. There are other types of personal area networks, but typically, like I said, Piconets or Bluetooth networks are really designed to kind of replace a lot of the cables, make things a little bit easier to connect things, things like that. And it allows you to have a nice little network of interconnected devices all within one small, usually an office kind of area. This is what an example might look like. So here on our left, we've got a router, switch, firewall, and wireless access point. In that office, we might have a computer that's connected. We might have a laptop that's wirelessly connected. We might have a printer that is connected to our desktop. So if these are all located on a desk or a couple of desks within a room, this is probably best referred to as a personal area network. Now, a local area network, or a LAN, is probably something you've heard much more frequently. It's larger in scope. It's not huge, but it's larger in scope than a personal area network might be. Some of the common connectivity devices that you might see in a local area network are things like switches and routers, the network interface cards that are built into the computers themselves. And some of the common mediums that you might see are unshielded twisted pair and shielded twisted pair, or cable or fiber optic, or even wireless. Physical topologies include star, ring, hybrid topologies, and we'll talk about some of those in a different video. And then the logical topologies are usually going to be a bus topology, pretty much just because Ethernet has kind of become the de facto standard in the LAN environment. Some of a common example of a local area network are what you might see at your own house. If you've got multiple computers in different rooms that are all connected together, or in an office building, you might see multiple rooms, potentially even multiple floors of a building that all have different computers that are all connected together. And that's kind of an example of what a local area network might look like. So in this case, again, we have a router and a firewall there in our top left, connected to a switch, which also has a wireless access point connected to it. And then we might have multiple office computers that are connected to that wireless access point, and multiple stationary office computers that are all connected to the switch. Now, a campus area network and a metropolitan area network, CANs and MANs, are larger in scope still. So these are a group of connected local area networks. So we may have multiple local area networks. So think about the campus that we have here at Tarleton State University. We've got multiple buildings all over campus. They have computers all over in various rooms, various facilities throughout the university. It's not a single large network. Rather, it's a collection of small local area networks together that all come together to form a campus area network. Still a little bit larger in scope, a metropolitan area network is the same concept. It's just spread across a city or multiple cities in some cases. They can be owned by an individual. A campus area network or a metropolitan area network can be owned by an individual, but more likely they're going to be owned by a fairly large organization or a governmental entity. So here's kind of an example I threw together. We might have multiple wireless access points all across town that allow you to connect to a campus or metropolitan area network. Still larger is a wide area network, a WAN. It's not necessarily bound by political boundaries, so whereas we might have a metropolitan area network that goes to the city limits or stays within the city proper, a wide area network may span across political political borders. The example there that we have at the bottom of our screen is obviously the internet. It's a huge network. It's a collection of networks, local area networks all around the world. So it's not bound by political boundaries or by a single governing body. WANs are often used to use different transmission media and methods, satellites, microwave relay, for example. And WAN environments are rarely owned by a single organization. It tends to be, because of the scope and size, it's very difficult for a single organization to be able to own a WAN. It's not to say that it can't happen, but it's just not the norm. So here's kind of an example of what a WAN might look like for an organization. You may have an office that's located in Dallas, in San Francisco, in Seattle, and in New York, and you might need some kind of connectivity between those different places. As an individual corporation, if they had offices in these different places, they might link them all together by leasing lines from some kind of a carrier, such as AT&T, for example. They lease those lines, and it allows them to connect their different offices together. So in this video, we talked about personal area networks and local area networks, campus area networks, and metropolitan area networks, all the way up to wide area networks. So we're talking about these in terms of smallest to largest. So we're talking about the geographic scope that kind of differentiates these different type of networks. So hopefully that kind of clears up some of the differences between LANs and WANs and all those kinds of things. If you have any questions, let me know. Send me a message. Follow me on Twitter @SchuesslerPhD. And until next time, take care.